Seek Yahweh while he is to be found. Call on him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to Yahweh, who has compassion on him, and to our Almighty, our Allah, for he pardons much. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares Yahweh. For as the ShaLaWaM are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain comes down and the snow from the ShaLaWaM, and do not return there, but water the earth and make it bring forth and bud, and give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so is my word that goes forth from my mouth. It does not return to me empty, but shall do what I please, and shall certainly accomplish what I sent it for. Isaiah chapter 55, verses 7 through 11. Have you ever encountered something that seemed impossible? At the Art of Woman podcast, we share testimonies of those who have. From divine healings to answered prayers, you'll hear stories of how Yahweh turns trials into triumphs. This isn't just another podcast. It's a community of followers of the way, sisters, seeking the impossible through faith. Stay tuned, because today's episode might just be the encouragement you need. Yada Yahweh. Yada Yahweh. All
Yeah,
esteem be to
yeah.
the Most High Yah. Oh, I'm laughing because, yeah, for real, you already know. I'm not even
Yes,
going to explain it
yes.
right now, but I'm trying.
Right.
Um,
It was
but
it was
all
kind of
esteem.
behind the scenes, y'all. It's kind of
Yeah,
behind the scenes, but
for
y'all
real.
knows. Y'all knows.
Right. That's why every now and again I'm gonna say that one little word to try to stop myself. Yada
Right.
Yahweh instead.
Yada yada.
Woo. All esteem be to the Most High Yah. But shalom, 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 and all of those dialects, though, peace and blessings,
Yes.
definitely mashbaka to every single one of you. And I do have here my beloved sister, Akwathya Malaka Adiyah, with me today, and we are just going to talk however it is that the Most High desires in the moment.
Yes, indeed. Let it flow.
Yes,
All praises to the Most High Yah.
yes, all esteem be.
High
Right, right. Yes, because it has been a minute, though. It really seriously has been a minute. We have had
Yeah.
like so many different things happen and transition in between the last few times that we actually had talk and came together here on the podcast, to be honest about it.
Yes. Oh my
And
God.
so I esteem the Most High Yah just for enabling us this moment right here to be able to share together.
Yes, thank you, Father.
Yes, yada Yahweh. So what I will start with though is because, oh my gosh, there has been like, okay, so I have recently started allowing myself to be used to expose myself with the struggles that I actually had been noticing that I was facing or am facing and going through because of choices that I made within my life that led to this mess that I have created, you know. And I was talking to another sister, and the way that she had described it, I kind of, I take hold of that, but it was like the beautiful mess, you know, that it is that we created, you know, because at first there's this part of us or this part of me, you know, I thought that I knew what I was doing. I thought that I knew what was best, and I just responded according to whatever it is, not realizing that sometime later down the road that there was going to be some things that were going to kind of progress in time to be in a way that I didn't like it. So I actually am currently in that, you know, like I said, that beautiful mess that I created. And I'm trying to understand how it is that I need to respond or posture myself or realign myself with the Most High and His set apart spirit and Mashiach, you know, to get out of it. And not necessarily, and I don't even mean get out of it just immediately either, because
Right.
one of the things that I do believe, and I've actually discussed it with Abba, because I'm like, I'm not even asking that you immediately take me up out of something, because first of all, that's up to him. Second of all, I don't even want him to, because I'm like, I know that there's some stuff that I need to learn first.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely okay, with being in it. I mean, I don't like it, to be honest about it, but I know that, hey, this is my consequences that I have to deal with. And so therefore I'm here. So
Mhm.
anyway, I know that was kind of long, but in the process of it, what I was thinking is, am I the only one, that has placed myself in a situation
Right.
that I do not like or did not like? And it doesn't even have to be, because I'm still dealing with mine. Somebody else's could be like a short-term thing and then they got themselves up out of it. But I guess the reason why it is that I'm still dealing with mine is because these are decisions that I had made over a period of years. And so it's a heavy thing that I am finding myself being in, that I have to find the way, Messiah, in order to be able to respond differently today. So that way my tomorrows are gradually changed. And so as I was thinking about it, I was just considering, okay, let me go back and communicate with all of the sisters, the Aquasiam, the sisters that I've actually brought on here with elders, amas, you know, uh, sisters that are younger, just of different whatever ages and stages, and see, is there something that they may have done, or is there like a mess that they had experienced with, I guess within their life, and if it is, like, what did that look like? And, what was it that maybe people didn't see, but, you know, uh, caused something based off of something that they were dealing with inside. And then therefore there's this huge thing now they had to face and look at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it actually does. And so girl, since the last time we were on, so I won't say that I'm in a mess right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? I am actually in my restoration phase from coming out of a mess.
Yada Yahweh.
So I remember like the last time that we were on here speaking, we were speaking about the ministry that was just like really taking off and getting started,
Right.
and just how Yahuwah had delivered me from a certain lifestyle, and now I'm walking in righteousness and in holiness, and for a time I was floating on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Sister Malaka, she's walking in her purpose and everything is going good. And I think at some point I got comfortable and I thought I had it in the bag. Okay.
Hmm.
And before you know it, I was knocked off track
Right.
and I found myself in a backsliding state. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but I'm so thankful for it
Right.
because I had to go through a season of humbling. Y'all, I'm going to tell you, when you see Yahweh using you and people's lives are being affected and situations are changing for people and breakthroughs happening, something happens inside of you. Something happened inside of me. I thought I had arrived. I got it under control. I am righteous. I'm the righteousness of Yahusha. I can do no wrong. And that is how I fell. And that is why I fell.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank the Father that, I didn't, I wasn't in that fallen state, but for so long, because I always ask Yahuwah, please keep me from slipping. Please keep me. And so what I loved is the community that Yahweh has me in. My sisters were feeling something's off, right? Because when I was in that state, I wasn't really coming on prayer meetings. I wasn't, I was ducking and dodging because I
Right.
was enjoying, So to be honest, I had allowed myself to start dating someone, family. And that was out of line. It was out of pocket. the person wasn't even in the truth. And so here, we try to take situations and turn them into what we want them to be. So now, I got him watching Moray Rick, and I'm like, no, we gonna be a righteous couple. Like, this is what we gonna
Mm,
do. You know what
right.
I'm saying? I'm trying to, I guess, right my wrong of being involved with him in the first place. And so this lasted for all of about, I want to say maybe 2 months. And it's like Yahuwah slapped me straight and slapped me silly. And I had to confess that thing and bring that thing out. So I immediately knew, because I'm going to tell y'all, when you slip, when you fall, right? Because the word does say a righteous man will fall 7 times, but what makes him righteous is that he keeps getting up. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to justify it. Do what the word says. Confess your sins that you may be healed. And so this restoration phase that I'm in, restoration process that I'm going through, and when I say restoration process, it's me being restored back into the service of Yahuwah. It's
Mm,
me being restored back on the path of righteousness, right? That thing had to start by me just confessing to my sisters. When I first came into the truth in public ministry, I should say, I always told Yahuwah that I would allow my life to be used, good, bad, and ugly. I will let my life be used to show Yahuwah's mercy, grace, and ability to heal something that's broken right out in the open. So I said, if I fail, I'm going to let y'all know. When I triumph, I'm going to let y'all know. I'm going to let y'all know what I'm going through, because I don't want you guys to think that because I have a platform, or because Yahuwah uses me, that I am without failing or falling or without mistake or error. It happens. I don't ever want anyone to look at, oh, okay, Sister Malaka has a platform, I want to be like her. I've heard people say things like that. Or I wish my faith was where yours was. Or I wish, I can be, oh, you so holy. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? Don't think that you got to count the cost. You don't know what that person
right.
has gone through in
Hmm.
order to be a spiritual powerhouse, in order to be someone who can tell a demon to get up out of a person, and that demon recognizes the authority on that person, right? You don't know what a person has to go through. So, girl, I fell, but I'm back. Praise Yahuwah.
Yeah, all
Praise
esteem
Yahuwah.
be to the Most High Yah. So, I mean, all esteem be to the Most High Yah that his mercy is as great as his majesty.
Yeah,
Because had it not been for that, then many of us, we wouldn't even be here, to be honest about it. Like,
yeah,
we wouldn't even been a thought in the Most High's
right.
mind because of so many things that we've done.
Hmm.
Um,
That's a fact.
yeah, so like whenever you did experience, having fallen back for that short period of time, and all esteem be to the Most High that it wasn't a long period of time too. What was it that you were, I guess, feeling inside that you believe, I guess, that led to you even falling back in the first place?
So there was, okay, so I'm really really am fulfilled when I'm in service, and when I'm on prayer meetings, or in fellowship.
Hmm.
But there would still be those times when it's just me here, and loneliness crept in, the desire for companionship crept in, and me thinking, I can spend time with people, I can hang around people, I don't have to stay closed up by myself. I'm righteous, I got
Hmm.
this, I can help them.
Hmm.
And I instead of, so I'm going to give you this, and I think you may have heard me say this before. If you stand up on top of a table, or stand up on top of a mountain, and the people that are below on the ground, you trying to pull those people up, it's going to be almost impossible. You have to have incredible strength to be able to pull someone up
Right.
from a low position. But
Right.
baby, with one yank, they can snatch you down.
Mm, mm, mm.
And so that is what happened with me. I got too comfortable, and at the same time lonely. And those two things, it was like a kamikaze cocktail for my spiritual life.
Right.
I would tell myself things of, I'm righteous. I serve y'all. I can go outside for a little
Mm,
while. You know, you don't, it's like my flesh was like, I've been good. I've been good. Can I come out to play?
right.
So
Not
just
realizing that there was a weakness there.
exactly, exactly. So exposing myself to myself had to be done. I had to see what else was still in there that didn't belong in there. I needed to see what
Mm,
level or what level of spiritual maturity I was in. I was
right.
at. It reminded me of literally when Paul was like this thorn in my side, and I went to the Father, take this thorn from me, and he said, my grace is sufficient. I did have one of those moments. It may not have been exactly the same, but again, because of the revelatory things that Yahuwah shares with me, because of the success that I've had in ministry, I may have allowed myself to get a little puffy.
Mm-hmm.
And me falling the way I did, that puffy balloon got popped, baby. I realized I can't do anything in and of myself. I
Right.
need Yahuwah every
Mm,
second, every minute, every hour,
you
every
do.
day to
Right.
walk right, to talk right, to
Right.
love right, to be right. I cannot do it on my own. I am
Right.
not good on my own.
Mm-hmm.
On my own, I'm dating people that don't even worship my father.
Mm.
But yeah,
But
but
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
His loving commitment and his plans and his purposes for my life is the reason why I'm able to even sit here on the Art of Woman podcast and have this conversation with my sister, because she literally was one of the first ones I called. Amana, remember,
Right.
I called and I told you everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah,
Mm.
so his favor and his plans for my life is the reason why I was able to recover, and now I'm on my road of restoration.
All esteem be to the Most High Yah.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
So
indeed.
when you were in it though, was there like how because I guess where it's in the moment thinking about what was the mind going through? Like what were things that we may not have noticed because of the flesh, being weak and then, speaking loudly, in these moments, right? Whenever we're going through something. And there's these ways that we can normalize what we're going through in a way that we're sitting here saying, oh, well, you know what? It's actually this, it's not this, you know? And so, how do you think that when you were experiencing this, that like, how did you kind of normalize it to where you're like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's
So
not
so
just.
yeah. So my flesh justifying it, telling myself, well, I'm gonna bring him into the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to right my wrong. We would sit and watch Truth Unedited. And don't get me wrong, he was eating it up. It seemed like he was eating it up, loving it. I still, right now, hope that there were seeds sown. You know what I mean? He'd sit here and read scripture with me and stuff like that. So I'm like, nah, we all good. This is part of Yah's plan. That's
Right.
what I began to tell myself. I didn't go to the Father in prayer and ask him, Yah, why is this your plan? No,
Mm-hmm.
I said it. This is Yah's plan because he's reading the word, and he needed to be saved. And oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I justified it and I found loopholes and stuff.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
have like this narrative, I guess that's just going on and on and on and on, and we just kind of believe it, little by little, we believe it even more, believe it anymore, and then next thing you know, we're in this thing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what was the hardest part about admitting that this is what was going on once you kind of were brought into, what, this is not of Yah? What was the hardest part about admitting it, that you
Well,
were struggling a little bit
admitting
in?
it to myself first,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because from the very beginning, I knew it was wrong, honestly. That was the war going on within myself.
Right.
My flesh would give me all of these, pretty little loopholes to see why this is okay and it's going to be okay. Even to the point where he's like, I want to marry you. Let's just get married. Okay. Um, it's like I heard that inner, no, you know this is wrong. You know you shouldn't be in this. So daily, even before we would like spend time together, or he, come visit me, or I go visit him, I would pray, Yahuwah, please, if this is not of you, please help me get out of this. Because I was already too far in, right, to just walk away, right? This dude is like, he's taking my mom out to dinner and all kinds of things and stuff. And so I'm just like, Yahuwah, I need your help. Please help me get out of this. Once I realized, you know, I quieted my flesh down and heard my spirit man, this is wrong. Get out of this. I'm like, nah, I need your help, yeah. So I got myself in a mess, family. And then I'm like, Yahuwah, please help me get out of this mess.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about his
Right.
faithfulness and just his compassion for his children is he got me out of it. And then what I did, y'all, I got back in it.
Mm.
It took something to happen negatively
Yeah.
to wake me up fully. Like, so I said, like, Yahuwah, he do it gentle at first, and then when you still keep going in that way, he's like, okay, now it's time. I got to give you a little papao. That's what we used to call, when you tap your kid and they doing something wrong, you want a papao? And so he had to give me that papao. And that papao was, a really bad argument type thing happened. And my sons got involved. And that sealed the deal for everything, right? Yahuwah had to come to the rescue. My oldest son, who's like 27 years old, had to come to the rescue and put my head back on straight, you know? And so, yeah, he rescued me out of it. And now I'm like, I have to use this testimony. I have to tell people what happened. I have to tell people that, I was moving and serving Yahuwah, and people were getting breakthroughs and people were getting deliverance, and I still fell.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, indeed.
yep,
So
yep.
was there a lie of the enemy that you found yourself believing the
Oh
most
yeah.
during that time?
Oh yeah. The lie that I believe from the enemy was that he's going to come fully in the faith, and we're going to get married, and we're going to be a righteous holy couple.
Mm.
That was what the enemy kept feeding me. And
Mm-hmm.
even he would say things like, I was sent into your life. I
Mm.
was sent into your life. And then it was one time that spirit that was on the inside of him spoke clearly and said, I was sent to you, but for what
Wow.
reason? And the way he said, for what reason? It shook me to my core, because I heard that voice of that serpent that was hiding. So let me just say this. There's a certain spirit of man that follows all the women of my family. They literally, from my grandmother to my mother to my last marriage, all the same type of man. This dude was the epitome of all of them. And when I recognized, that was another thing that snapped me awake too, is like, that's the same spirit that's following you. That's a familiar spirit coming to destroy you. Coming, because I, at one point, was just going to walk away from the ministry, because I'm like, you know what? I'm in this relationship. I am no longer worthy to be serving in the ministry. And what I did was, my covering, who is Moray Rick Fletcher, I came to him and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I turned the whole ministry over to him.
Right.
And lo and behold, that same night, they did one of those crisis intervention meetings. And he's like, they had to set me straight. They had to set me straight. You know what I mean? And so, man, it was a lot. It
Right.
was a lot. It was a lot in a little bit of time, you all. Like 2 months, a lot happened. And so I was willing to even walk away from what I was supposed to be doing for the kingdom of Yahuwah, to
Mm.
be in a relationship. So it was like, if I would have done that, then I would have been successful in making an idol in my life.
Mm. Wow.
And it's so funny because I was literally working on a lesson. Like the week that led up to the hard fall, I was working on a lesson on idolatry, on things, people, places, hobbies even, that people put before Yahuwah. And Not only was the message interrupted because I never gave it, an idol was placed before me. That's what that was. Because there was nothing righteous about that relationship. There was nothing in it that glorified Yahuwah. I was doing things in my own strength, in my own mind, and in my own flesh. And anything that we participate in that does not give glory to Yahuwah is idolatry. Our lives, the only purpose for our lives, those of us that are called out and set apart, is to glorify Yahuwah, is to do the work of Yahusha. That is the only reason we're here. Now, in that there is joy, in that there is peace, in that there's even prosperity, in that there's healing, in that is the fullness of life. The flesh desires extra things.
Yes.
So anything that you're doing that is not directly glorifying Yahuwah is idolatry. Period. I don't care if it's food that you're just eating out of comfort. That's idolatry. That's how I look at things that do not glorify Yahuwah or edify the kingdom, or edify the body. It's idol. And what's the saying that we heard when we were children? Idle time is the devil's playground.
Mhm. Right.
So with this now, I'm going to look at every single thing. I'm going to scrutinize every single thing. How does this thing glorify Yahuwah? Even taking my children bowling. How am I glorifying Yahuwah in this? Okay, recreational time, the opportunity to talk to people, because everywhere I go, I'm talking to somebody about Yahuwah.
Right.
So if I'm going to be at an event or anything and I can't glorify Yahuwah, I don't need to be there. And I personally have to do that with everything because, man, it's a slippery slope.
It really is. It really is. And then, like you said, earlier on, it doesn't, like a lot of times when we think that we've got it, then that's when we actually end up finding that we really don't. At least not as much as we think that we do anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, it allows moments like this to come up to let us know that not only do we not have everything together as we thought it was, but to be on guard,
Oh, God.
because there's anything that, we could have left open as a way to the enemy to kind of take over, through our flesh, what it is that the Most High, is trying to do within us, and then calls us to not go in the way through Yahweh Shah that he wants us to do. Because you said that this thing, as it came in, it almost had became successful at causing such an idol to be built in a way that it took away or tried to take away completely what Yah had put you here
Yes.
to do. So,
Yes.
like, it was literally trying to completely destroy that,
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
with that,
I see
go
that.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis. No, what were you
Mm-mm.
about to say?
You go
Okay.
ahead and say.
So my thing is, and I'm also seeing, just looking at what Yahweh is doing with Connected in Spirit and Truth now. I remember when it was just like maybe five or
Hmm.
six or seven of us,
Right,
right? And now there's like 130 some odd members.
right,
And I was ready to walk away from all of that to satisfy my flesh, to,
right.
to, to hide my sin, to do what? And I'm going to tell y'all, to die.
This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Consult your healthcare provider before use, especially if you are pregnant, nursing, or have any medical conditions. Results may vary. For external use only. ShaLaWaM family, let me ask you something. How often do you think about what is really in your mouthwash? Most people grab whatever is on the shelf, swish and go. But did you know that many common mouthwashes contain harsh chemicals that can dry out your mouth or even disrupt your oral microbiome? Now, imagine a mouthwash that supports your oral health without the burn, without harsh synthetic alcohol, and the artificial junk. And that's exactly why I am here today. Let me introduce you to a Tonic Guard, a natural, powerful, and refreshing way to take care of your mouth. This isn't just about fresh breath. It's about total oral health. With a blend of carefully selected herbs like peppermint, rosemary, and clove, a tonic guard fights bacteria, reduces gum inflammation, and helps produce plaque buildup, all while giving you that long lasting fresh feeling. Unlike conventional mouthwashes, a tonic guard uses nature's alcohol, which means no harsh burn, no dry mouth, and no artificial flavors or dyes. Every ingredient has a purpose to protect, cleanse, and refresh naturally. This product came about because I saw a need for something better. And I've seen firsthand how powerful natural ingredients can be when it comes to oral health. And the feedback has been incredible. People are noticing many things. And I just want to share with you just one thing that someone has recently sent after using a tonic guard for a short time. After several weeks of actively using a tonic guard, I have noticed the difference. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get to the dentist for some time now, and I'm trying to be more mindful of how I'm taking care of my teeth as a result. This mouthwash is helping me do that naturally, which is also very important to me. I have literally stopped using other mouthwashes that I've had. This is my go-to. The effects of my periodontal disease have lessened where I'm not having the consistent bleeding when brushing. The taste in my mouth is different, so I'm pretty confident that bad breath is not an overall issue. Also, any slightness of pain that I would have from time to time is lessened, and I believe it's boosting and enhancing the effects of my natural toothpaste. One of the even more substantial aspects is that a little truly goes a long way, which makes it economical. 4 stars, A plus plus plus, etc. This mouthwash gets marks in my book. So, are you ready to experience oral care the way that nature intended? Visit parabayamana.com and get started today. ShaLaWaM.
Because that's what have happened. That's what would have happened. I would have died. Now I don't know if it would have been a physical, go to my funeral death, but my spirit man
Hmm.
would have died. My relationship with Yahuwah would have been compromised.
Yeah,
Everything, everything. And who knows, I could have lost my life. You know
right,
what I mean? Because he started to show some tendencies and some signs like those abusers that had been in my family bloodline. Like all the men were alcoholic abusers.
right,
All of them. You know what I mean? And yeah, so
right.
I was gonna lose everything.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, going in that direction, for anybody, and I'm not, saying pointing finger at you, but anytime that any of us, have a moment of testing in a way that can cause us to go or is trying, to cause us to go in a completely different direction, the thing is that some of us, if it is that we choose to do that, then that can be it, because a person can likely end up just going back completely. And they
Yeah,
may never find their way back, to be honest about it,
no,
depending on the strength of that idol.
yeah,
So,
so true.
yada Yahweh, indeed, that he did not allow it to be that strong. And that another thing that you mentioned was the fact of having community, because no one knows, like when you're by yourself. I mean, I do believe that Mashiach, because of how um his ability to overcome everything, we can overcome everything through him, yet there has to be that relationship built in order to be
Yeah,
able to do that. So if a person is left by themselves and a such thing happen, it's very possible that they're just going to be completely, they could be given over to it completely,
yeah,
unfortunately, because not only are they not rooted in Mashiach, but then there's that community that is lacking.
right.
And so you need both,
Yeah,
because without both, then a person can just fall completely for it,
yeah. I'm
unfortunately,
telling you, I
Yeah,
can't even imagine what would have happened if, Sister Lakeisha, and I'm shouting you out, sis, if she didn't rally the troops and say, "Look, Malaka's in trouble. She
right,
messing up." You know what I'm saying?
right.
What would have happened if Moray Rick didn't take that time out to be like,
Hmm.
as you're covering, I'm telling you, I'm not in agreement with you stepping away.
Yes,
You know
right,
what I mean? What would
right.
have happened? That was Yah's love all over that thing.
Yes,
He
All
saved
sheep be to
me.
the
Like,
most.
for
Yeah,
real
for
though.
real. For real though. He did, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So how do you think that, because you had mentioned that it was loneliness that actually
yeah,
had kind of showed up in that decision to go in that direction.
yeah.
So do you think that there is or how do you think that, so you know that that loneliness does not influence your posture today,
Right.
then what is it that the Most High has shown you to do today, since then, in relation to idolatry, like, because you're kind of, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
loneliness is
So
what
so
made
Matthew
you
six thirty
seek
three.
it.
So
Hmm.
and it wasn't just any kind of loneliness.
Right.
It was the I want to be married
Yeah.
loneliness.
Right.
It was that loneliness, right? And so what does Matthew 6:33 say? Seek ye first the kingdom of Yahuwah.
Hmm.
Don't seek a spouse. Don't seek a companion. Seek Yahuwah. And then when your ways please Yahuwah, all these things are going to be added unto you.
Yep.
Now, it doesn't say in that verse, seek Yahuwah and then when your ways please him. But that goes without saying. Your ways must please the Father. There is something in some scripture that speaks about when our ways please Yahuwah, even that our enemies will be at peace with us, right?
Yes.
So that was the thing. When I feel that, take it to Yahuwah, because guess what? If it was Yahweh's will for me to be married right now, I would be. If it was his will for me to be with someone, I would be. And that's just that.
Hmm. All seen be to the Most High. Yeah. So throughout this, would you say that you've realized that deliverance is not just a kind of an instant thing, but it actually
No,
is
and
a
it's not a
journey
one
and
and done
walk into,
thing.
yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
so it's constant until the day we die.
Hmm. Yeah.
We will never ever. I know there's people pumping at, I don't even want to go there, but I'm going to say this. As long as we're here, we're forever growing, we're forever learning, we're forever dying to our flesh. It is not going to be until the day that we are face to face with Hamashiach that we are just like him. That is what this whole process is. We're being changed and transformed into the likeness of Yahushua or Yahweh Shai, right?
Hmm.
That's a process until the day you die.
Right.
Once you get over one thing, he's going to show you some more stuff about yourself and then some more stuff about yourself. And you're going to constantly, continuously be able, have to be tweaked and refined.
Right.
Bottom line, until you shine like pure gold. And personally, I think that's when we go home. Like once you hit that space, he's like, okay, you've learned what you needed to learn. You've
Mm.
done what you needed to do. Good job. Come home.
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how I see that.
So how does Yah reveal truth to you?
Oh my gosh, in so many ways, in so many ways. Can I flip that? Can I ask you that?
No, because I'm
Well,
asking you.
mainly through his word and through other people.
Right,
And then I'm
right.
gonna be honest, it might sound weird. I'll
Mm.
just lay or sit and he just talks to me. I know people be like, oh, Yahuwah don't talk
Right.
to me and that, but he does.
Yeah.
I feel like I hear him in my head, in my mind, in my ear.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know so he tells me, no, that's not right, that's not true, that's not.
Hmm.
And then sometimes I don't know, and when I don't know, the best thing to do is be still
Yes.
and don't do anything until you
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah. Because honestly, in the moment when you was over there, can I flip that question? Like, nope, because I asked you. But honestly, what I was considering though is, like you said, scripture. Sometimes he does reveal truth to us in our silence, because we do have to be quiet in order to be able to hear. And
Yep.
then other people, and it's kind of maybe not something that many of us actually want to hear, but he actually also reveals the truth also to us through our pain.
I'm on a praise you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you finish, I was going to say that even through our
Yep.
stories and through our pain,
Yep.
he reveals truth to us, because sometimes we'll be going in a direction that he doesn't want us to go in, so he will have to cause
Yes.
calamity and storms in our lives
Yes.
to reroute us.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oftentimes it's not until then that we actually see it, right? Because
Yep.
otherwise we're kind of like, at least I know I've done it. You were just talking about how you've done it before too, as far as us trying to hide certain things. We put band-aids on it. We act like it's not even there, or whatever with certain things. But a lot of times it is not until a trial, tribulation, adversity, some type of affliction. It's a painful moment for many of us. And now we're actually being still enough even in that to be able to say, okay, now this is what I'm noticing about myself. Like sometimes, unfortunately, for many of us, it isn't until those moments that we actually will, I guess, face the truth about ourselves.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. That's so true.
you are right. You are right. So, what does choosing life according to what Yah desires look like practically in your daily habits?
Choosing obedience. Choosing obedience in what I eat,
Mm-hmm.
and what I watch, and who I speak to, and how long I speak to them,
Mm,
and even what I share when I speak to them.
mm,
I got to check in with the Father about everything.
right.
That's it in a nutshell.
So when you say how long you speak to them, can you elaborate on that a little
Yeah,
bit?
so there's a proverb that says, "In a multitude of words,
Mm-hmm.
sin is not far behind."
Right.
Sometimes we linger in a conversation far longer than we should, and when we do that, the wrong things start coming out of our mouths.
Right.
We start saying more than we should.
Mm,
So even in that, like, just knowing when and how much and what to talk about, how long should we talk, you know what I'm saying? when
right.
you feel that when you feel something is forced, like, and you're just looking for something else to say, it's pretty much time to get off the conversation, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Hey, I'll talk to you later. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. She said looking for something to say. Yeah, you really need to get
Right.
off that phone. Why are you still
Right.
on it
And
right
then
there?
usually, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, usually when it gets to that point, that's when gossip can happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you speak in death over a situation in life, because now you want to complain and you want to vent and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even in that, even in conversations, yep. Yep. And then again, what I'm listening to, what I'm meditating on, this is why I don't watch anybody on YouTube anymore.
Right.
I don't, you know what I mean?
You
I'll
don't watch
pop
Gone
in.
stories no more?
Girl, she's not. I mean, I'm talking about those people. I,
Right,
I
I'm
don't
playing.
play with God's story. Let me say,
Right.
shout out, Sister Leah. I don't play with God's stories, girl.
That stuff
But
is for
no,
real.
but it ministers to me
Yeah.
and it shows me myself. I see so
Yeah.
many things. Like, even when, say I'm frustrated, and I'll talk to somebody, I'm frustrated. Let's pray. I don't want to pray right now. I'll call you back later. I learned to
Mm-hmm.
not do that by watching God stories. You stop, drop, and pray. But what I
Right.
mean is, like, people that are teaching doctrine and all this and that, I don't listen to it
Understood.
anymore. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
very seldom. You know what I mean? I don't want to be name dropping, but there are a few channels. Like, if I'm a moderator on the channel, more than likely I watch the channel, I listen to the channel. But sometimes even that's limited, because every message ain't for you.
Right.
Everything, you know what I'm saying? So if your who is like, turn it off, I'm turning it off. I don't care who it is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't want to listen to anybody more than I'm listening to my father.
Mm.
And if
Right.
I don't hear my father in you, oh, you better believe, unsubscribe. Remember when we did the study on the word covenant, when you subscribe to someone, that's you're in covenant with that person. That means I am in full agreement of what you preach and teach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yep.
I'm very cautious in that area now too,
Right.
just to
Yeah.
keep me on the right path.
Right. And I think that this is important. I'm asking these questions because, again, like these are things that are important for us to remember in the process of the being tested.
Yeah.
Again, our deliverance or healing, restoration, whatever it is that we're looking for from Yah, it's not going to be something that is instant. Sometimes there are some instantaneous things that do happen, so it's not taking that away. But ultimately, what we really need from the inside out, it's going to take a while. It's a part of this journey. We're receiving, like I say all the time, we're being perfected in the
Yes,
process.
indeed.
We are being perfected in the process because we have so much stuff. that has happened to us. We've got generational things, we've got, things that we've attached ourselves to years in before becoming a follower of the way that the Most High is dealing with. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a journey. It's definitely a journey. And then at the same time, we do need to pay attention to what it is that Yah is revealing to us in the process. Because, like we were talking about prior to us even getting on here, there are these subtle things that Yah will reveal to a person that we will put to the side and we'll act like they're not big matters,
Hmm.
until next thing you know, he gave this little subtle warning about something. He tried to say, no, don't touch that. Smack a little small, pat on the head,
Give
smack
you
on
a
the
little
hand
pop
or
out.
whatever. Right,
Right.
yeah. And we were able to handle it.
Hmm.
We were able to think, okay, you know what, I can deal with this. I can, that's not a big thing. I can
We
still
see
do
red
this. And
flags and
yeah,
we bleach them and turn them pink.
we do, but they still pink though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Them things are not
Right.
completely white. It's still something that's
Exactly.
going to affect us, and then we don't, we just ignore it until something huge ends up happening to where we have no choice through pain and suffering to be able to say, yeah, I did wrong. I should not have gotten in this. And then we look back at those small things that he did give us along the way. So we
Yep.
do need to pay attention to whatever way that Yah is revealing truth to us, whether it be through, you all right?
Yeah, girl,
Should
I
you get
need
some
some
water?
water. Yeah, I got to get some water.
Don't want to ignore that, hearing you doing that, I don't want to ignore it. But
Right.
but yeah, so we don't need to sit there and, and ignore whatever way that Yah reveals truth to us about our situations or circumstances or even people, within our lives. And at the same time, like you were saying, as far as Matthew 6:33, we do need to have something that we can hold on to
Yeah.
whenever we happen to feel like giving in, whenever we feel like giving up, whenever we feel like, whatever, I guess, whatever that temptation is, not may, I don't
Mhm.
know, whatever it is, when we feel that, we do need to have something to hold on to.
Anchor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Yes,
um,
indeed.
and at the
Oh,
same
there was
time,
something else I was going to say, and it just
go
left
ahead.
me that quick.
Oh, I hope it come back.
Yeah, me
Anyway,
too.
but then at the same time I was going to say daily habits, because what we do today or what we did yesterday is affecting our today, and then what we do today is going to affect our tomorrow. And knowing that, we need to make sure that we're having better habits. We need to take those dysfunctional patterns and replace them
Mhm.
with things that are righteously so, needed in our
Yeah.
life, that's going to help us to be more of what Yah wants.
Diligence and consistency. You can't just have one good day and say, "Hey, I had a good day today," and then tomorrow,
Hmm.
your whole day is like, so routines,
Right.
patterns, healthy, positive patterns. Set a goal for yourself. You know what I mean? I've heard people say, I want to read more. I want to, practice spending more time with Yahweh. So do that. And then just don't be like, oh, I did it today. Do it tomorrow. And then the next day, and then the next day. See it thou a man diligent in his work, and he will not sit before angry men, he'll sit before kings. So we
Hmm.
got to be diligent and walking righteously,
Right.
even if
Okay.
sometimes it may feel boring to the flesh.
Yes.
Remember, Gad, that I was talking to you about the names, right? When you think of a gadfly, when you look up about a gadfly, it says a gadfly goes buzzing about. They annoy livestock, right? Because it's fun to them. They go around seeking fun, frolicking around. You
Mm.
know what I mean? You don't always need to be entertained. You don't always need to be having fun, okay? Hasatan, silly women, fleshly men, they're all about seeking the next fun.
Right.
Hasatan has a good time frustrating us. And this is why his name is associated with Gad fly, because what? He is the Lord of the flies, Beelzebub, right? And so those are the things that we need to think on and remember when you're so-called bored
Yes.
and you want something to entertain you, and you want to have fun, because something will entertain you, all right, it'll enter you and then start to maintain your behavior in a negative way, maintain a life of unrighteousness in your life. You want to be entertained all the time, have fun all the time. Wait, I feel like I'm talking to my kids.
Right.
But it's the truth, though. It's the truth. So okay, you're bored, you don't find joy in worship, You don't find joy in praise, right? Into your Father, right? Go to Him. Father, I'm bored. Give me something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And He will. He really will. He will fill you. He will occupy your time if you allow Him. It's your flesh that wants all that other extra stuff.
It is.
And that's the flesh that you got to whoop into submission. The
Right.
best way to whoop your flesh into submission is fasting. For real, for real. Turn down your plate. And I'm only saying this like because, I bless Yahweh that Morey, he has us, Morey Rick Fletcher, he has us fasting every 20th to 30th a month. So 10 days out of every month, we're whooping our flesh into submission. I'm telling you, it changes the game. It really changes the game. And I noticed when I had fallen the way I did, guess what I did? I had skipped. I'm not doing the fast right now. I don't feel moved to do this fast right now. My
Mm.
flesh was like, got her.
Mm.
Okay.
Wow.
So again, that consistency, that diligence, you know what I'm saying? I have to be consistent. Every 10, every 10 days of every month, I'm going to commit to fasting to get the discipline that I need. I don't care who else doesn't do it. I'm down. I'm doing it. And what I love that the Most High sent him as a ministry covering, so that authority already sits on his shoulders, that mantle as a man of Yahweh. Because I might not have been able to do that and say, hey everybody, we're gonna fast, you know what I'm saying? But because it came from Moray, we like, yes.
Right.
Yes, Moray, and I'm so thankful for that. And it was it really kind of, we all were here in the Ruach at the same time. So in connected in spirit and truth, even though I founded it or whatever through the will of Yahuwah, or Yahweh, um I said I would not consider us a solid ministry without a male in leadership. For me, that's the order of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I prayed and I asked Yahweh, I said, if this is really supposed to be a ministry, an end time ministry at that, for Yasharal, then please send a man to lead us. I cannot do this. I'm not equipped to do this. And then here came Ori Rick, and he literally says to me, the Most High told me to come and cover your ministry and to help it grow. And that's
Mm.
exactly what he's doing. So I say all that to say, after he came in, then Dr. Galen also came in. So the three of us, it's kind of like when Yahweh wants the community to go in a certain direction, the three of us will converse, and then we'll take it to the elders, and then we'll take it to the community. We have right now about 5 or 6 elders. But anyway, back to the fasting thing. Like literally, we were just coming off of a 10-day fast, and it was just in my spirit that we got to keep this going. And I reached out to Maury Rick, and sure enough, him and Dr. Galen had spoken, and we were like all on the same page. Like, yeah, this is something that we're going to do every month. And I'm like, wow, as they were already, the brothers were already, and if this was the old school, we would call them, like, I guess, the priests of the assembly, right? They were already on it. And then Yahuwah was over here telling me, yeah, this is what y'all going to do. And so, it just fit because this is what
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh is requiring. And I'm like, right now, people are worrying about food and this and that and the third. I'm like, well, I'm used to not eating 10 days out of every month. So I'm not even worried about it. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
and I'm like, was that in preparation for this? Was Yahuwah in his sovereignty and in his omnipotence, knowing what we were about to go through, he's got us disciplined in the area of fasting that won't none of us bug out if we short on food, or got to share some of our food with somebody else. Because I know we're never going to be short on food. Let me just say that. Yasharal, we are never going to be short on food.
Right.
We may just have to share some of what we have. We may have to curb the way Babylon taught us how to eat, but we will never be forsaken and we will never beg for bread as long as we are among the righteous.
Praise Yah.
Psalm
Thank you,
37,
Most High
stand on it.
Yah. Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. Girl, I feel like I was just
Man.
talking. Like, I don't even, what?
Listen, I'm listening. I
I
am
think that's when the
listening.
Ruach takes over, though, because you be like, what did I just say?
Right. I had to go back and listen to
Right.
it.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Yes, indeed.
yeah.
But I want to
But
commend you, sis, really quickly, because I might not have an opportunity all the time. But I really love how you give our sisters the opportunity to share their spiritual walk, to share their walk in the truth with Yahuwah. The Art
Hmm.
of Woman podcast is a blessing for our communities. And I don't share it as much as I need to, but sis, I'm going to be sharing more and more because, and as of late, your segment's been powerful. So I just wanted you to know that.
All esteem be to the Most High Yah. Every time, and Sawada, Todaya, you know, I do appreciate you saying that. All esteem really be to the Most High Yah for real, because I think that most of all, um, I just really believe that there does need to be an opportunity for us as daughters of the Most High Yah to be able to come forward and to speak, about our testimonies, our walk, what that has been like, for us. I think that, at least in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, that there's more people talking about everything else that's going on, and I don't think that there's enough people that are declaring the righteous acts of the Most High, talking about how to have a relationship with the Messiah. Like, these are things
Mhm.
that are needed, so
Very
much
much
more.
so.
And so my hope, and Palau, my petition to the Most High really is that more sisters will come forward to begin to start talking about what this walk really is like for
Yes.
us as
Yes.
followers of the way, and what it looks like to be connected to Mashiach, and what,
Exactly.
because I mean, nobody wants to hear, "Depart from me, worker of lawlessness, I never knew you."
Come
And
on.
then Yah
Come
is,
on.
he's angry though with
Yeah. And so
Yasharal.
what are we gonna say? Well, Yahuwah, I did videos in your name
I
and
know, right?
I showed people where the
Yeah.
maps are and
Yeah, I told
and
them our
yeah,
history and who
come
we
on.
were, you know what I
That's
mean?
right.
But
That's right.
yet, hardly any of them have a true relationship with Mashiach. He said he's the way, the truth, the light,
I
that
know.
ain't
Come
nobody
on.
coming to the Father but by him. And
That's
yet,
right.
people don't know him.
Let me say this.
So,
You know how the
yeah,
scriptures say out of the mouth of babes, right? We were in here in one of the rare times listening to someone, but we were listening to someone, and my 16-year-old, he goes, "All right, like we know we the people already. What next?"
right,
And what next is, now that we know better, now we have to do better. Let's start teaching righteousness, holiness. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I stand right in agreement with you, sis. Remember, we had a conversation about that as well. Because it's like, okay, you're not telling me anything that I can't go to the library and read and look up. I appreciate it, yes. But don't make that be the whole sole focus of your ministry. There is a time and a place for it. Don't get me wrong, because you have to know your past to understand your present, to know what your future is going to be like, even, right? But there's a time and a place for everything. Don't just history buff me if you can't tell me what thus says Yahuwah.
Yeah, and teach me how to have a relationship with Mashiach, because otherwise,
Yep.
all this stuff that we have and that we're gaining, reality is that we still need to know how to walk, how to talk, how to act, how to live
Yeah.
truly a set
Yeah.
apart life in
Exactly.
the authority of Mashiach, the Messiah,
Yes.
Yahweh Shah
Yes.
Mashiach, or Yahushua Mashiach for those that speak a different dialect. But my whole point is, it really is through him. And I think that
That's right.
this is what we need to be talking about more, because, like I said, Yah is angry with Yasharal. People
Yeah.
need to quit pretending that he's happy, that he's joy, joy. He's not happy
Yep.
with the way that we've actually been acting. He's not
Mm-hmm.
happy with this, people
No,
talking
he's not.
about whether or not you should have your head covered all the time, whether or not you're going to have multiple wives, whether or not you're going to wear tassels or fringes or not,
Wear
you know what I
pants
mean?
and no wear
Exactly,
pants. Yeah.
exactly. Whether or not you following the right calendar, whether you counting according to the moon or the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these things are actually all of these different distractions. I'm not saying that it's important, I mean, that it's not important to know our history and stuff like that, but I think that the level or the place that people are taking it, like
They've turned
like
our
like
history
you
into
said,
idolatry.
like it's a trend now. Being
Mm-hmm.
of Yasharal is a trend now.
Yeah.
It's a trend.
Yeah.
It's not who we are. It's not cultural
Exactly.
people. It's a trend. It's what it has
Exactly.
turned into.
So,
Yeah,
and that just came back full circle to the idolatry talk.
it did.
They've made who we are an idol to them.
It, yes, true. Yes, that is the truth.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I'm hoping that the right ears hear this, because Yasharal, we have to do better. This is confirmation that you just said what you said about Yahweh being angry.
Mm,
So I was led to um, go down to my very first live and checking out my very first live. I was scrolling and I came across a segment
mm-hmm,
of a sister, um, Malana Yah, when she spoke and allowed me to record it on my channel,
mm-hmm,
when she was saying it's time for us to hush and be
mm,
quiet before Yahuwah because we're cruising for a bruising and he's unhappy. And when I looked at it, I said, I need to put this back out. But then I said, nah, I'm not
mm.
going to put it out. You just saying what you said, that was confirmation. I'm going to put that back out. I think it's something that Yashua needs to hear again.
Yeah, because we're being fooled. We are being fooled. And I'm not even trying to be one that is speaking as though I'm not making Yah angry. I'm still repenting. It's still like I'm in atonement. For real, for real. I know the
Oh,
feast days is
girl.
over, but it's like I'm still in atonement, still crying out to the Most High, still begging for him to forgive me for all of these things that I have done and still am doing. Like it's really, it's not other people, for them, I don't even know if for you, and I'm not saying that you're saying this either, but some of y'all can put it out there to make it seem as though living in a way that is set apart unto Yahweh is easy. He
Mm,
says that the road that we are supposed to be on, not the broad one, but the one that is narrow, is afflicting. It's difficult. It is not easy to be a follower of the way. And
mm-hmm.
honestly, he sit there and says, and this is not even just saying that somebody has to be necessarily operating in disobedience all the time, just for affliction to come. Affliction comes because you are a follower of the way. Affliction comes because Yah says multiple times that he will refine you like gold in a fiery furnace. That doesn't feel good. And there's all kinds of impurities that we have inside of us called sins, transgressions, and iniquities that are deep within us that he has to get up out of us. And a part of that is the reason why we are, because they're still there, is the reason why Yashrael's acting in the way that they are.
That's right.
I mean, even the feast days have turned into,
Oh my gosh.
wow,
A
I
circle?
yeah, I
Huh.
mean, and
Yeah. But
anyway,
these are all the reasons why people don't understand. Why would Yahuwah tell his people your feast days, your new moons,
yes,
and your
yes,
Sabbaths,
yes,
they're a burden to me.
abomination,
We are repeating the sins of our ancestors all
yes,
over again, some of us. And
it's,
let me not say
yes,
all of us as a whole,
not
right?
all,
But
yeah,
some of us, you know what I'm saying?
it's
So
a good amount though.
we need to get back to righteousness.
Yeah, we really honestly do, sis. And it's crazy because like we're doing more, and this is what is failed to realize. And I know this didn't even have nothing to do with what our conversation was supposed to be
Right.
about in the first place,
Let y'all
but
have his way, honey.
it's here. It's here. But what I will say though is we're doing worse though. Like yes, we can sit there and look at the fact of as far as our forefathers and ancestors and stuff, whatever, and people can sit there and even look at other religions in whatever way, but I think that
Mhm.
we're held to a higher standard.
A
You know
higher
what I mean?
standard. Yep.
And I think that's the reason why it's kind of like it's looking at we're a little bit worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's like think about, you know, you have children, right? And then you go and you get you some foster kids,
yeah,
right? And everybody's misbehaving. But you looking at your kids like, but I raised you from the beginning.
yeah,
You know, I had a
yes,
special relation. You are my covenant children. When I pass away, you're getting the bulk of my inheritance. They'll just cleave to you and, you give them, like that. We need to understand that. That's the type of
right,
relationship we have with Abba. So, yeah, it is worst on us. It is.
yeah,
It is.
yeah. So I know we've got to go. Like I said,
Yes.
it went in a completely different thing. And I did want to ask you like some other questions, but maybe if we can kind of, meet up at another time or
Yes.
something
Can we
like
do a
that.
part two? And the
Yeah.
only reason is because, tonight, so I'm being interviewed by this beautiful sister on a Wednesday night, and so Wednesday night we have the
Yes.
corporate Palau with Maury
Mm-hmm.
Rick, and I'm actually going to be leading tonight. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to just take some time to get in some scriptures and, get myself ready. So other than that, I can stay on here with you, girl.
Yes, definitely. So, yeah, willing, we will meet again and talk again. Because, like I said, I did have some other questions, just in relation to the
Yeah.
topic at hand.
Well,
But,
I think, what time is it right now? It's 5:10. We
mhm.
have time for like another, like maybe two more questions if possible.
Okay. So, what I wanted to ask you is like, what would you say, just whenever somebody does fall, and then they're getting back up, because again, you said that you're in that process as far as
Yes.
recovery restoration. How is it that you would recommend that a person, or what is Yah showing you on how to recover
Mm-hmm.
from falling back into those old patterns or thoughts that led to something like that?
Right. I hate that right now. An old song from Aaliyah is singing in my head.
Mm,
But if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Get
yeah.
restored. A righteous man falls 7 times. Get right back up. Do not allow shame to beat on you, guilt to beat on you. You already got the conviction. You confessed. You repented, which means you stopped your behavior. I don't mean you just said, sorry, Yah. I messed up again. Sorry, Yah. Once you have completely stopped that behavior, get back in this thing. Get back in that race to the incorruptible crown. Don't let shame keep you down or bound. Yahusha paved the way for you. Don't throw his blood away like it means nothing.
Most High Yah,
It
yeah.
was shed for you.
Yeah.
Keep on operating in righteousness and in truth. And then if you fall again after that, now this ain't no Christian thing where it's like, just say sorry, Jesus. And no, he's going to whip you. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to chastise you, but he is also going to set you back on track. Stay lockstep with Yah. That's it.
Oh, yes. All esteem be to the Most High. And I would say just the last thing is, how can being transparent about your struggles actually bring healing to others?
Because secret hidden sin has power over you. When you confess that thing, you strip the power away from that thing to continue to operate, because now you have shed light on that dark thing. And then you take away the power from the enemy to accuse you before your Father. Confess it that you may be healed and set free from it. Because if you hide it and you be secretive about it, that means you like it and you don't want to stop.
Mm, yada Yahweh. So what would you like to just leave others with? I guess that, they're something happened. They are trying to recover from that thing too, and it's hard, for them. What would you just want to leave others with?
Yahuwah loves you. You are loved. You are not a rejected seed. Yahushua loves you. You are loved. So love him back with your obedience. Let him love you. Let him love you. He's given you the rules. He's given you the blueprint. He's given you his word. Get into it and follow it. And just let him love you.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I want to close today's episode with Isaiah chapter 41, verses 8, 9, and 10. And it reads, "But you, Yasharal, are my servant, Yaakov, whom I have chosen, the descendants of Abraham, whom I love, whom I have strengthened from the ends of the earth, and called from its farthest parts, and said to you, you are my servant. I have chosen you and have not rejected you. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not look around, for I am your Almighty. I am your strength. I am your power. I am your Eloah. I shall strengthen you. I shall also help you. I shall also uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness." Hallelujah. Remember, no matter what you are facing, The Most High Yah can turn the impossible into something possible. If you were encouraged, inspired, edified, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, and be a part of our growing community. We're here every week to bring you more testimonies, teachings, songs, whatever it is that the set-apart spirit of the Most High Yah brings that will strengthen your faith. And until next time, stay encouraged and walk in the authority of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. ShaLaWaM.